Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Yes, it is my second time going live today. Some of you saw me earlier today, which that ran late. And then this one I put up 2 seconds before I started because yet again, I was falling behind with so many things I'm trying to achieve. It is a tough couple of days is what I would say, but we are still here back in action, trying to make something happen. So I'm glad for those of you who keep showing up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There were so many things I thought of that I could have chatted with you about today. And I thought, do I want to go down more New York State stuff, which I've been doing a lot of recently? But I thought, no, I'm going to travel both literally and figuratively into international waters is what I thought of doing today. I know a little bit of a pun. So I thought I'd do that today and ask the question about should we be bombing these drug boats? Now, there's a lot of pieces to this. Some people might say it's black and white. They're bad guys. Kill them. Or no, international waters. It's bad. Don't kill them. I could see both sides. I can see both sides. But it's more nuanced than that. And there are other issues here. There is the, right now, supposedly, again, don't know if it's true, supposedly from the people who don't like or trying to stop Hegseth, they are saying that Secretary Pete Hegseth authorized a double cap strike. For those who don't know what that means is, you probably heard this if you're paying attention. This is what's alleged, not saying it's true, don't know if it's true yet, but it is alleged that Pete Hegseth authorized a bombing of a boat, and then there were survivors there. And again, it's alleged that he then authorized a second strike to kill survivors. If that is true, and again, I'm not saying it is or isn't, it is alleged. If it is true, that would be a war crime. If he actually saw them and then said, do it again, that would be a war crime if that's true. Now, who knows? I'm not saying anything at all, but he seems to not be concerned. And according to what he's saying, he's like, I left the room, so I don't know. Is he throwing his general under the bus? Maybe, maybe not. Supposedly, there may have been a miscommunication. We'll see. The point is, there's more to this. And of course, now we're threatening war with Venezuela now. Okay. Is this our prelude? Are these bombings of the boats now? That's the thing. That's like remember the Maine from World War, the Mexican-American War, Spanish-American War, or, Gulf of Tonkin for Vietnam, right? Is that what that is? Right? Could it be that? See, we have to fight them there, so we have to fight them here or whatever. But then it's just something simple as, is it the oil? I've heard that too. Or is it, no, Maduro's a bad guy and Marco Rubio has a real ornery hair up his ass. And boy, does he want to get rid of this Maduro guy. Is it as simple as it's Rubio who wants to get rid of this guy? Is it that? Is it the oil? If it's the oil, didn't Maduro go, just take it, it's fine? Is it that? Or is it something even deeper? Is it the idea that we want to change the system, meaning that we want the system of oil and energy and gas and all the things to just run smoothly under the American, hegemon? Is that what it is? Now, I threw a bunch of stuff up there because I want to have some conversations on this. And I think all of those are things I've heard, and I could see arguments for all of them. But I will tell you what I think it is a little bit later. But anyway, the point being is I think a lot of stuff is out there. It's a good conversational piece. And if you like that, click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. And please share this and or repost this. As you've heard me say before, I have had to split this because I'm running for governor on one side and running Sharpe Way on another. I've had to split all my marketing, split everything. So by default, I am having a lot of people miss either one of them. So I need you to help me out by sharing, reposting, clicking that like button, doing the thing so that more people can come over who on the other one will come to here. Also, be sure if you are on the other one, you come here, subscribe to this channel, this page, so we can keep going. Remember, if you want your question or comment to go to the front, you can always super chat me or Rumble Rant Me, either one. And I'm also live on Instagram, also on the Sharpe Way Instagram. So feel free to do either of those if you would like. So all good. In addition, if you want to become a member, $6.99 per month, click that join button to become a member. We can use all the members we could possibly get. We are trying to rock and roll here. And we're going to be doing a new, hopefully, advertising campaign, hopefully, coming up here in about 2 weeks. So we're setting that up for a couple of weeks to see if that worked, maybe 3. I might do it after the holidays. I'm not really sure yet, but I'm going to pop that up also. So if you guys want to help out with that, membership helps. All the things help. If you want to make that happen, I would appreciate that. So, all right, let me grab this if I can. This is a piece coming from Crystal and Friends, and there's a little piece that's just talking about the Hegseth piece to give a little bit of background, and then from there we can chat from there.
To Pete Hegseth's troubles. Also at this meeting, Hegseth continued to kind of back off of responsibility for the second strike on September 2nd that killed the survivors of the first illegal strike.
So according to, obviously, he does not like Hegseth. He, of course, says the first strike is illegal and then the second one is illegal too. That is his view. So just so we're clear.
Let's roll B1 here.
I watched that first strike live. As you can imagine, at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do. So I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting. A couple of hours later, I learned that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do. And by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision.
Oh, Admiral, not General. Sorry.
Sink the boat and eliminate the threat. He sunk the boat, and eliminated the threat. And it was the right call. We have his back.
You didn't see any survivors, to be clear, after that first strike.
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded in fire and smoke. You can't see anything.
All right. Now, he seems like he's fine and everything is good. All right. Let me be very clear. He is absolutely and 100% wrong. Doesn't matter, but he is. And some of you can be mad. I don't care. He's wrong. Why is he wrong? If the boat's on fire, it's not a threat. So how did you take a second round and eliminate a threat? Not true at all. So if that's true, it's not a threat. It's a boat that supposedly has drugs on it, I guess. They tell us that. That's what they say. Assuming there's drugs on it, right? If there is, okay, there's drugs on it. How is it now on fire and people in the water? How is it a threat? It's not. If there was a second strike, I'm not saying there was, I don't know. That's garbage. That's garbage. That's wrong. He should have done it. If that happened, he's in the wrong. Now, here's the issue. Assuming that happened, again, assuming it happened, is he responsible? Is the admiral responsible? Is the guy or gal who pulled that trigger responsible? That also becomes tough. This is a terrible spot. And whose fault is this overall? Oh, you're going to be mad, but I'm going to say it. This is Trump's fault. He's the president. Why are we doing this shit? Why are we bombing these boats in the first place? Why are we all up Venezuela's ass? And then why is Hegseth in this spot? And why is the admiral in this spot? And then why is the guy or gal who's pulling that trigger bombing people who are floating in the water and destroying boats that are no threat to us? Let me say it again. No threat to us. If you think these boats are a threat to us, you are fooling yourself. How is some boat a threat to us? Because it brings drugs? So now you get to kill them? I want to ask you a question. If you honestly believe this or not. Let's say there is a car driving down I-95 and you're pretty sure it's got drugs in it. You are like 99.9% sure it's got drugs in it, and it's going to New York City to drop those drugs off in New York City. It's going up I-95. I don't know, outside of Delaware or something. It's in Jersey. It's on the Jersey Turnpike. Should you be able to drone strike that? Of course not. Of course not. Could you interdict it? Of course. Could you arrest the people there? Of course. Could you stop them? Yes. Could you block the road? Yes. All those things. Could you blow them up? Of course not. What if you knew those people weren't American citizens? What if you knew they were, I don't know, Mexican citizens or whatever? You knew they were 99.9% sure. You never know. 99.9% sure they're Mexican citizens. 99.9% sure there's drugs in that car. Can you blow that car up? Of course not. So you can blow this up. Why? Because international waters. So because international waters, that makes murder okay. It does not. It does not. Larry, you're a bleeding heart libertarian. Yes. Yes. Proudly. Yes. You don't just murder people because you think they have drugs on them. You don't. Trump is 100% wrong. And because of that, Hegseth is 100% wrong. And because of that, the admiral is 100% wrong. They're all wrong. This should not happen. It shouldn't happen. But Larry, drugs are coming. Drugs are coming from all over the place. Do I get to murder everyone who brings in drugs? If you believe that, and some people do, you're a fucking monster. You're a monster. Let's just murder everyone who has drugs on them. You're a monster. That's stuff that the guy in the Philippines used to do. Just murder people who've got drugs. And guess what happened? There's still drugs. Yeah, it doesn't stop them. And here's the worst part. Who's actually doing these runs, right? Who's doing these runs? You know who's doing these runs? These runs out here? It's just young men trying to make money. That's all it is. It's probably not even cartel people. Assuming it's drugs. I'm not even sure it's drugs. It could be fishing boats. How the hell we know? We haven't captured anybody. We didn't bother capturing anybody to interrogate them to know if it's actually drugs. We don't know. Maybe it is. Could be fishing boats. We don't know. This is an embarrassment. And here's the worst part, which makes it utterly worse, is Congress is doing nothing. Nothing. They wanted to impeach him on some bullshit from years ago, which I don't care about. Impeach him for this. He's murdering people. Now, why? Because here's the problem. Congress doesn't want to be responsible. Because what if Trump is right? I don't think he is, but say I'm wrong. And Trump is right, and these are people coming over to invade and kill us. Okay, great. Then what should happen? Well, then the Congress should declare war, and then they'd be responsible for murdering these people. But that's not true. That's not true. Well, Larry, we have an authorization of use of force back from 2002 or whenever the hell 2003 was it? Whenever the hell it was. We got that. And that's because Al-Qaeda and stuff. Okay, so now what? There's Al-Qaeda now in the ocean? Those weren't drug dealers. They were Al-Qaeda dealers. Stop. Just stop. This is an embarrassment for us. This is an embarrassment for Trump. This is embarrassment for Hegseth. This is an embarrassment, period. We're just murdering people. You know what we have in America? We have a huge problem with things like rent, which is why Mom Donnie's my goddamn mayor. So what's Trump doing when Mom Donnie's my mayor? He's murdering Venezuelans. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. This is an embarrassment. If you were trying to get Democrats to win in 2026, this is what you would do. Like if I was putting together some plan, this is how I'll get rid of Republicans and put Democrats in charge. This is what I do. I'd say, you know what? Start the war with people who don't care. And then when they say, please don't kill us, kill them anyway. Just kill them anyway. Ignore everything. Be the monster the Democrats have been saying you are for years. Just be that monster. They've been saying Orange Man bad forever. Just do it. And he's doing it. This is a terrible mistake for Trump. He is screwing up so bad. It's for those of you who support Trump, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you would. If I would be upset. This is terrible. I'm looking over. Let me grab a couple comments if I can, and we'll keep going. There's a couple of these things I think we want to chat about here. Jameer says, Larry Sharpe for governor. Thank you. Johnson, Larry Sharpe for governor. Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Adirondack says, any question that starts, should we bomb? Should we no? True. Well, one exception. Should we bomb in response to us being bombed? That will be the only question I would say yes. Right? So if they're bombing us, we can bomb them. That would be the only way that question should be yes. Otherwise, no. Yes, absolutely. Mike Voss says, bomb the drug boats in international waters? Yes, do. Boo! Ignore the fear-mongering of Dems that hate Hegseth since day one. It's political propaganda with no substance. Okay, Let me give you the substance. Where is the declaration of war? There is none. Where's the authorization of use of force? There is none. That's not propaganda. That's a fact. Now you might go, but Larry, they're drug dealers. That doesn't give you the right to murder them. That's not U.S. law. That's not international law. There's no law at all saying you get to murder people who you think have drugs. Even if it was a law, great. Say that this is some rule I didn't know about. There isn't. But say there isn't. Okay, great. Where's your probable cause? Where's your evidence? When they surrender, aren't you supposed to let them surrender? How come you haven't captured a boat and showed us all the drugs? Yeah, absolutely not. This, you don't get this. Imagine for 1 second that we got one of our cruise ships out there and whatever, and we got a bunch of happy people on a cruise ship heading over to the Mediterranean, and the Spanish go, I think they got drugs in that, and they bomb that ship and put it to the bottom of the ocean. You think America like, well, international waters, bomb them? Of course not. We get to bomb them for only one reason. We get to bomb them, and this is going to piss some of you off, and I don't give a shit if you get pissed off. Doesn't matter to me. If we get to bomb them for the same reason why the Russians get to invade Ukraine. The Russians can invade Ukraine because they're Russia with lots of power and nuclear weapons. That's why, not because they're right. They get to, and nobody stops them. Why do we get to bomb these people and put them in the water and murder them? Because we're America and we're powerful. That's all. Anyone else does it, it's an international incident. We do it, it's okay. And we wonder why so much of the world hates us. We wonder why Russia's pariah. We wonder why we're becoming pariah. That's the reason why. That's the reason why. It's propaganda to believe that this is valid in any way, shape, or form. It's not at all. It is not valid in any way, shape, or form. This is, and you're going to watch this come back to bite. I guarantee you, all this shit's going to come back to bite Trump. All of it is going to come back to bite him. He is losing independence like there's no tomorrow. They are fleeing from him because of shit like this. They're running from him. He can't, him and his party, assuming he cares about his party at all, which it seems like he doesn't. If he cares about his party at all, they can't win an election on this. And here's the thing. Rubio doesn't want to. And here's the critical piece. Rubio doesn't want to. What Rubio wants to do is get the neocons back in power. And that's working. So when Trump gets his ass kicked in 2026, Rubio will say, see, Trump's so good. Come back to us. Come back to the neocons. This is the neocons getting back to the Republican Party. That's what this actually is. And if they're going to murder people to do so, they don't care. Again, not Democrats be any better, but they don't at all. So yes. Adirondack says, Hegseth ordered a double tax strike. For some reason, bombing once was okay. The follow-up was somehow bad. It is bad. Assuming they were surrendering. Again, assuming they were surrendering. I don't know yet. If someone has data to show that, I'm happy to see that. I don't see that. So I don't know. That's, again, it's alleged that I know of. If someone has data, I'm happy. If you have some extra data, let me know. But at the moment, all I know is it's alleged. So let me grab some over on Rumble if I could. Okay. Texas Spy Historian says, I don't know why I don't care about the boats. I feel like I should, but I just don't. I don't either. It's irrelevant. What do I care? One boat comes in. This is and here is actual propaganda. This boat has enough fentanyl to kill 17 gazillion Americans. Utter horseshit. Total lie. Not true at all. Fentanyl doesn't kill you when you touch it. That was Drug Warrior. Blatant lie, blatant propaganda. You can touch fentanyl, you don't die. That's not if that were true, all these guys coming across the border would be dead. It's not a thing. People, you use fentanyl literally in our hospitals. People use fentanyl as a painkiller. I'm not making that up. People are looking at fentanyl. The story is everything's laced with fentanyl. Utter horseshit. People want fentanyl. I'm not joking. If you have an addict in your life, you know I'm telling you the truth. People want it. They are purposely taking fentanyl. They're looking for it. There is a desire for it. That's how all drugs work. There is no such thing as a drug pusher. That's some shit they made up in the 60s and 70s to act like people didn't want drugs. Not a thing. There's drug dealers all over the place. And most of those are doctors and pharmaceutical companies. They're everywhere. No such thing as a drug pusher. No one's got to push drugs. Not a thing. Not a thing. The demand is there. Ain't nobody pushing drugs. That's not a thing. So, yes. Texas Spy historian goes on and says, double tap strikes aren't new. True. There were a hallmark of Obama's drone program in places like Yemen and Pakistan, where follow-ups often killed first responders or civilians. Yeah, and the Russians do it too. And it's wrong. Trump shouldn't have done it. The Russians shouldn't do it. We shouldn't do it. So why are we doing it? Because we can. Exactly my point. If anybody else did it, it's a war crime. In fact, when the Israelis do it, we all do it. And when Israelis did it, we were like, Netanyahu's a war criminal. And when the Russians did it, Putin's a war criminal. When Obama does it, it's Obama. What are you going to do? He's kind of cool, isn't he? So he's not a war criminal. He's not. Netanyahu, yes. Right? Putin, yeah. Obama, no. Trump, no. Hegseth, no. Why? They're Americans. We can double tap. Yes. He goes on to say, am I just desensitized? Yes. That's how it works. Oh, that's got a lot to say on this one. Okay, I'm sorry. He goes, framing for the White House drug lords poisoning American streets, where overdoses claimed 100,000 lives last year alone. Mostly. Yeah, they're claiming lots of lives. That's true. But one boat doesn't kill 100,000 people. Now, what is killing those 100,000 people? There are several things that are killing those 100,000 people. The first thing that's killing them is the war on drugs. That's the first thing. The war on drugs is ensuring they can't get quality drugs and they don't know what they're getting. So war on drugs, number one thing that's killing people from fentanyl. If they didn't have a war on drugs, they wouldn't be using fentanyl. Meth and fentanyl and crack are all because of the war on drugs. Without the war on drugs, we wouldn't have a fentanyl problem. We wouldn't have a meth problem. We wouldn't have a crack problem. It wouldn't exist. Why? People would be getting higher quality drugs. How do I know that? Alcohol. How do I know that? The wealthy. That's how I know. Second reason, prescriptions. Our horrible healthcare system was just everything ends with a prescription, a procedure, or a test because we are a break-fix model of healthcare. We haven't made the right move to a co-op level of healthcare, which we should be creating together, and we have not done it. The technology exists. I've been talking about it for years. We don't do it. We have this break-fix model that they make money by prescribing you shit. So they do. 80% of all addicts still come from originally prescription. Yes. So number one, war on drugs. Number two, our crappy healthcare system, which is just destroying our people. Those two reasons. And number three, which is the thing I talk about all the time, loneliness, unhappiness, lack of community. Those three things is why those 100,000 people are dead. If we could fix those three, it would be like 10 a year. It'd be 10 a year if we could fix those. Fix those things, it's 10 a year. There's nothing to do with us bombing boats. Irrelevant. Nothing to do with us having more people on the border. Irrelevant. The border's closed now. Supposedly, it's closed now, right? We still got 100,000 deaths. What happened? What happened? I thought we closed the border, so now all the fentanyl's gone. No. Because the system is still garbage. The system is what's killing them. It isn't the fentanyl. If it's not fentanyl, it's meth. If it's not meth, it's crack. Who cares what the drug is? It's an unhealthy, terrible drug because of our systems. That's what it is. This other stuff is just stuff they make up. They act like they're helping you. Well, I bombed people. So? Who cares? It means nothing. Anyway, I'm sorry. You have to say. I hope that makes sense, guys. All righty. Let's see here. Mikoy says that Russians invaded Ukraine after 14,000 Ukrainians were murdered by the military. Not the same at all. It doesn't matter. What is the same is double tap. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The double tap is the same. Russians double tap. So do Israelis. So do Americans. Right? And it's illegal. You're not supposed to double tap, right? By the laws of war, which of course we know that those don't matter. The laws are enforced by the victors. So whoever wins, they don't have to worry about those laws of war. Whoever loses has to worry about those laws of war, right? That's how that actually works in reality. So in that part, it's exactly the same, right? They just double tap. Now, and what I mean by Russia invading Ukraine, Russia invades Ukraine. Russia does terrible things to Ukraine. Is Russia going to pull out and have to pay reparations to Ukraine? Never going to happen. And you can be mad at me. Go, oh, it's bad. Russians this, whatever. You can say that all day. I'm not even going to say you're wrong. But they're Russia. Might makes right. They get to do what they want. That's how that works. Be mad at me if you want to. I don't care. It's still true. It's still true. Right? And again, when it comes to us, we can do it too. So yes. Alrighty. Micro O says, because John McCain, Victoria Nuland, and Lindsey Graham supported a coup. I can't go that word. I could say the word on Rumble, but I can't say it on YouTube. It is that the word that rhymes with the game Yahtzee. There we go. Russia is not carpet bombing the whole country because it's not Pete Hegseth. Blink twice if you understand. Oh no, stop that. Still, that's silly. No, the reality of it is, I'm not saying it's carpet bombing the entire country. I never said that. So that's shit you made up. I never said that. What I said is they have double tapped, and they have. That's a fact. If you name an example, sure. I'll name several cities. Avdiivka, what, 2 years ago, they double tapped all day long. Of course, double tapped. Yes, they did. Absolutely true. They double tap as they were taking Pokrovsk more than once. You can see it. You can literally look at the road going to Pokrovsk and you can see where they double tapped. They double tap. Don't get me wrong. Ukrainians do it too. They do it too. Ukrainians also do it also. They actually will go after someone who surrendered. If Russian surrenders, they'll kill a surrender guy. So Ukrainians doing it also. I'm not, again, you're obviously pro-Russian, which is fine. You be who you want. But I'm not blaming. I'm literally saying Russia does it and others too. That's what I'm saying. And if Russia wins this war and we ignore the Ukrainians, they will punish Ukrainians for war crimes. They won't punish Russians. It is doing the same thing because the victors decide who gets punished. So yes, I've been following that war very well, my friend. And yes, they double tap in that war all day long. Please, you know what that means? They usually do drone strikes or artillery strikes, double tap. So they'll have an artillery bombardment hit. After it hits, the people will come to try to save the people who are there. Then they'll drone strike it, or reverse. Drone strike first, people can accept. Then they'll do an artillery strike. Ukrainians do it too. This isn't just the Russian thing. The Israelis do it. We do it. Yes, double tap is. That's why it has a name, because it's done so often. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Let me grab some more of this if I can. HVAC Soldier says, but Larry, the Republican Party says it's self-defense. I know. And that's just propaganda. This is not self-defense at all. Nothing is being saved by bombing these. Nothing is being saved by bombing these boats. Nothing. So yes. D says, I love how everyone trusts the government to tell them that these boats are drug boats. Also, the TV show called Snowfall about CIA bringing drugs into USA. Yes. Well, yes, absolutely. Yes. Mike says, zero evidence of claim Hegseth said to kill survivors. I think that's true. I haven't seen any. I think, Mike, you're correct. I agree with you completely. I have not seen any evidence of this. That's why I was very clear. I said alleged. It's alleged. I haven't. If someone has evidence of him doing it, I'm happy to see it. If you want to send it to me, I have seen no evidence of Hegseth saying that. It is alleged. So even New York Times and 5 sources back Hegseth, New York Times. Yeah, I agree. You're right. John says, second strike was called for because drugs were floating in the water, not people. Only WAPA reported it. Even the New York Times said did not. Yeah, so it might not have happened. Double tapping's wrong. I hope it didn't happen, but we do it. Obama did it. It's true. I hope double tap didn't happen. Again, don't know. I hope it didn't. It is alleged. What is wrong, though, is the first strike was wrong. All these things are wrong. We're doing stuff because we can. And it's terrible. So Macy says you can highlight your comment or question for Larry to read live with Super Chat. True. It moves you the first in line. It does. She is correct. I would like that if you can. So please, if you can, pop up there. That'd be great. So yes. James Kenny says, no, because first of all, we're not at war with Venezuela. And second, because the war on drugs isn't working. Yes and yes. Yes. Here is what I keep saying. If the government is supposed to send its soldiers off to murder people and or kill them, now you see that. For it not to be murder, it has to be authorized, right? It has to be authorized. So what does that mean? That means that the president can't just decide to kill people. I'm sorry, he can. The Supreme Court says he can. So I guess now we can do that. Shouldn't. How about that? Shouldn't be able to. Maybe that's better. Shouldn't. Which is, yeah, because according to international law, you can't do that. According to American law, you can. The Supreme Court has said, president can kind of kill anybody who wants as long as it's doing his duties. So our Supreme Court has, yet again, our judges have failed us. It is an embarrassment how bad our judges are. He was like, yeah, if he's literally, remember the thing when they talked about this? Well, what if he were to do a drone strike upon his, political enemy? Well, if it's for the president, why would any judge even say yes to that stupidity? No, literally no. Absolutely not. Yes, I don't trust any president to be randomly murdering people. I was up in arms when Obama was murdering people, and now I'm up in arms when Trump is murdering people. You can get mad at me if you want to because you like Trump or because you like Obama, but I was pissed off at Obama then, and I was very vocal, and I'm pissed off at Trump now. I'm very vocal. Presidents should not be murdering people. Done. They should not be. But here's the worst part. Some guy or gal, I don't know which one in this case, pulled that trigger. The admiral didn't pull the trigger. Hegseth didn't pull the trigger. If there was double tap, or if those people aren't drug runners, that person just murdered people and has to live with that now by following orders. By following orders. That person, whoever they were, they didn't sign up for that shit. They signed up to defend the Constitution, not to blow up drug ships. Why are they doing that? Congress has abandoned its everything. Congress has completely abandoned everything it could possibly do. It is a goddamn joke now. All it does now is grandstand when we're going to hold them in front of Congress and have whatever, their meetings or whatever we're going to have. And we're going to make commercials from that, which will do nothing. Congress does nothing. MTG, of course he left. Right? Amash, of course he left. You can't do anything. It's for grandstanding. Our Congress is only for grandstanding. It doesn't do anything except grandstand. Our government now is run by one person, our president. Now, if you like Trump, you're like, great, I like Trump. What happens when, I don't know, President AOC is president, whatever? What happens when that happens? Right? What happens when Tim Walz is president or whatever? You can be happy when he can decide whatever the hell he wants? No, you're not. Now, Democrats will be like, yay, Tim Walz is going to make sure we all have tampons in the men's room. Yay, he's going to order it. I guess they'll be happy about that. Good, I guess. But Republicans aren't going to be happy about that. This is a disaster. Adirondack says, is Trump trying regime change? Regime change always goes bad, but we'll do it right this time. Tulsi's never talked with Trump. Tulsi's given up. Tulsi gave up. She's like, I can't, I'm done. She gave up. Yeah. Regime changes never work, ever. In fact, I'll go one step further. Regime changes always, every time, make shit worse. Every time, make shit worse. They don't just not work, they make shit worse. Ask the Libyans. Ask the Iraqis. Ask the Afghanis. Ask any of them. They always make things wrong. Every single time. Every single time they make things worse, without question. Things keep getting worse. And we're doing it again anyway. So John says, short answer, no. Drug matters is a domestic issue and doesn't concern U.S. Besides, China is responsible for the majority of our fentanyl, and we're not bombing China. Yes, true. Mexico and China are the big issues, not Venezuela. Mexico and China. And a big chunk of the origin of opioids comes actually out of Afghanistan. Now that we've given that back, well done, giving that one back. And now, it comes out of Afghanistan now too. So anyway, actually not as much now. Sorry, not as much now. They've actually cut it down since they took over. It was when we had it, came out of Afghanistan. When we had it. Yes. So anyway, Phil says, how dare Venezuela put their country near our boats? True. Rick Puss says, more theater. Trump's doing the bidding of those from whom the other three presidents of his century drone weddings for. Look, I am so disappointed in what Trump is doing in this one. So disappointed. Look, did I think he was going to be a great president? No, I didn't. But did I think he wouldn't be the warmonger? I hoped for that. I did. I said it publicly. I really hoped when he won. I thought, look, I'm hoping we're going to get a president who's not a warmonger. Now he has, and I will give credit where credit is due. Trump has tried to stop the Ukraine Russia war. True. Good, right? Hasn't worked, but he is trying. That's positive. Happy about that. All good, right? All good. I wish he would. He's trying to stop some of the wars in the Middle East. Good. Keep going. I'm happy about that. But you're now letting Marco Rubio run your foreign policy here. Is he checking out? Is he checking out? I mean, maybe. James says, absolutely, we shouldn't be bombing these boats. First of all, we're not at war with Venezuela. True. This will cause us to be in one. Yep. Second, the war on drugs has been a complete disaster and should end. Yes. No lies detected. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. There's no reason to be doing this. Absolutely silly. Now, hold on. Is there a reason? Yes. No reason for us. You might go, wait a minute. Venezuela is bad because drugs. Utter lie, not true. No evidence of that whatsoever. It's not a drug thing. Well, we have to stop them because Maduro is bad. There's tons of bad people in the world. Why the hell Venezuela? Utterly propaganda, not true at all. Okay, well, because they have oil. Okay, great. Let's assume Maduro's bad if they have oil. Maduro has already agreed publicly. He has agreed. Take the oil. Take it. I would like to not end up at the bottom of the ocean. I would like to not go into a box because he knows he's about to go into a box, right? He knows what happened with Libya. He knows what happened with Iraq. He knows that. He saw that. He's like, I don't want to do that. Take the oil. And Trump said, I don't really want the oil. I mean, I want the oil, but I really want a war. So I'm going to go with a war. And he's like, but just, and Maduro said, I'll step down. Can you let me do it can you just let me step down with a little bit of dignity? I'll step down. I'm not joking. This is true. Do your homework. This actually happened. Can I just step down with some dignity, take the oil? We can wrap this up. Trump said, no. I don't think Trump said no. I think Rubio said no. I don't have evidence of that. That's just my personal opinion. I think Rubio said no. No. You got to pay because I'm a neocon and you have to pay. And I'm a Cuban neocon. When it comes to South America, that's the strongest of all the neocons. That's the strongest of all the neocons. You got to pay. Bombing and pain is what you have to take. So there's that. That's how that works. So yeah. And again, I'll ask you one question. Let's assume that we bomb all of those boats. Can you pay your rent now? Does that change you paying your rent? It doesn't. Let's say we bomb none of the boats. Does that help you pay your rent? It doesn't. Say we invade Venezuela. Yeah, take out Maduro. We got him. Great. Does that get you a better education, a better job? No? Does that make you have a better relationship with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend? No? What does it mean? It means nothing to you. Let me say it again. This means nothing to you. And sadly, we're talking about it. And sadly, we're talking about it. And it means nothing. HVAC Soldier says, didn't the German U-boat commanders try the same mistake after World War II? Many of them did. Just following orders. Just following orders. Yes. So, all righty. Adironic says, should the guy or gal pulling the trigger refuse an illegal order? This is a point. This is terrible. This is terrible. Because how's that guy or gal who's pulling the trigger supposed to know? And what if they do? What if that guy says, you know what? No, this isn't a drug boat. This is just people. I can see them fishing. It's a fishing boat. I'm not pulling that trigger. What's going to happen? And I know people go, he's got a responsibility to. Utter horseshit. That sergeant or private or whoever it is, if they don't pull that trigger, they're literally going to jail. I'm not joking. They will say it is a wartime order and you refuse an order during wartime. That's a felony. No one's going to support them. No one's going to give a shit. That person's going to jail. And they're going to put the next guy in that seat. He's going to pull a trigger and it's still going to die. I don't blame soldiers. And if you think I'm wrong or crazy, I don't care. You're wrong. You don't blame soldiers. You blame the leaders. You blame the leaders. If that admiral thought it was wrong, the admiral can say, I'm not following that order, Secretary Hegseth. That's an illegal order. I'm not following it. You follow it or resign. I'm going to resign, then have a nice day. I'm not doing it. He doesn't go to jail. He just resigns. An officer can just resign. I'm going to resign. I don't follow this order. I'm not going to. I resign. I'm out. Enlisted can't do that shit. They go to jail. They go to jail. The leaders are responsible. Punish them. The soldiers who pull those triggers are not responsible. And the fact that we did shit like that after World War II, shame on us for that. What's their answer? So, Space Jason over on Rumble says, Venezuela has more oil on the ground than any other country. It's about oil, which is still the most important resource on earth. If it's just about oil, just take it then. Maduro said so. Just take it. Yes. Mike says, per naval doctrine, if boat is struck, not sinking, people still on board, it's a legal target. This is naval legal statement on this. Only left meaning says that people were in the water. Okay, I don't know if people in the water or not. According to Pete Hegseth, according to what he said, the thing's blown up, it's on fire. Not just that. Yes, if a boat is struck, a military boat, not a civilian boat. Civilian boats are not legal targets. They may be boarded. That's true. They may not just be blown up. You know that, Mike. According to naval doctrine, you cannot just blow up civilian ships. Now, if that civilian ship fires on you, you may fire back. That's true. But if a civilian ship does not fire on you, you may not blow it up. That's not a thing. If it's a warship, yes, this isn't a warship. It's a civilian ship. So it does not apply. It does not apply. That's absolutely not true. It does not apply. So yes. Superweapon says, Larry, do you think it's some sort of debacle would be less common with a CIC that has actual military experience? No, I don't. I don't think the president needs military experience to make this work or not work. That's why you have generals. That's why you have admirals who generally will have military experience, if not combat experience, right? You have them to do that. So no, I don't think that would have mattered. And look, Hegseth has military experience. So did whatever admiral they have military. I think Hegseth actually has combat experience. He does. And I think that admiral probably does, because most of these top admirals, most of them actually do have combat experience. Not all, but most of them do. So I don't think that matters at all. I don't think you have to have a president with combat experience. I don't. So let's see here. Larry, don't give Trump or Hegseth any ideas. They'll drone strike the car and wouldn't care about cloud damage. True. You're right. Yes, absolutely. Adrock says the dog signaled in the car is calling a drone strike. Oh my God. Yes. Terrible. Oh my God. HVAC says to my clinging to debris is different. By the way, U-boat commander got death penalty for doing something similar. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Yes. I don't know if they're in the water. This is alleged. If found to be true, then that's an issue. But again, if someone has evidence of this being true, I'm happy to see it. As of now, this is just alleged. So yes. John says this is liberal propaganda, even New York Times. Yeah. So it could just be alleged. Doesn't take away the fact that we shouldn't be blowing up civilian boats. Should not be doing it. And we do double tap. Obama double tap. So maybe we didn't double tap here. Perhaps we didn't double tap here. Maybe. But do we double tap? Yes. We do. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all righty. Mike says, if they're in the water, then yes, they should be tried. Not in the water, no. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Mike. I agree. I'm with you. 99 says, Trump ran in 2016 on a campaign that said Iraq and Afghanistan were dumb. And now we have undeclared action closer to home than like ever. And now he wants regime change war. I know. Phil says, Trump is looking to get Justin Mosley the president. This is going to motivate a split in the major parties. You see it already. The Republican Party now is in it's in a civil war. And it's because Trump could not keep that coalition together. Look, to give him, again, credit where credit is due, it was a tough coalition to keep together. And I brought that up last year after the election. This is going to be tough. It's going to be challenging to keep his coalition together. Neocons, along with the Trump MAGA at the time, or America First, whatever you want to call them. That's tough. along with the crypto bros, along with the Maha people. This is a very, very tough coalition to keep together. Agreed. He has not kept it together. He hasn't. So yeah, I don't think that means Amash is going to be president, but I would hope so. Yes, got it. So let's see. I'm not sure. Is Jenna mad at me? Am I the idiot? Should I shut up? I'm not sure if I'm the idiot or I should shut up or not. But either way, you shouldn't be murdering people. So I'm not sure if that was me or not. So yes, Obama was worse. Agreed. I'm not gonna fight you on that. True. That's good. Good. Let's see here. Jenna Rosa goes on to say free food for illegals. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure where you're going with that one. I think he's just mad. I think Jenna, what Jenna's doing, what so many people do, which is you said something bad about Trump. That means you're a liberal who wants all the liberal stuff, right? Because you can't say anything bad about Trump, or you're the liberal with all the liberal stuff, right? That's how that works. So yeah, if you insult Trump, you're this. If I split this often, guys, when the person is considered the bad guy, they have all of the negative traits. They're both, evil and, diabolical. And then they're also stupid, but they're super smart. But they're all the bad, and they're ugly, even if they're not. And they're stupid, even if they're not. Doesn't matter. They have all the things. So Jenna has decided, it's Gennaro? Sorry, Jenna. Gennaro. I'm sorry, Gennaro. Sorry, Gennaro. Gennaro has decided that I said something bad about Trump. Therefore, I'm a liberal. Of course. So yes. Sam says, recently had surgery. They use fentanyl for anesthesia. Yes. Thank you. Yes. 100%. That's true. So General goes on to say, drugs killing more Americans than anything else. Yes, and we've closed the border. So that didn't stop it, did it? And we're bombing the boats. That didn't stop it either. And it's not killing more Americans than anything else. Heart is still the worst. Second, I think, is cancer. Third is actually, we're not medical malpractice, medical errors. So yes, you are demonstrably wrong in what you just said, but you're mad. And Larry's a bad liberal, so I'll just say stuff because I'm emotional, and I will say that Larry's emotional, even though I'm emotional. That's kind of you right now. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. Please stay. So yes, Grace says, I recently had fentanyl after cranial angiogram. It was not a pleasant drug, but I didn't feel a thing. There we go. Fentanyl doesn't just kill people. That's not a thing. That was just made up. That was, a cop touched it and he died. Utter horseshit. Never happened. Totally made up, and people still believe that stuff. Fentanyl is used. People want it. Yes, absolutely. That's the issue. So anyway, HVAC says, goddamn the pusher, goddamn. Oh, I say the pusher man. Nice. Very nice. I like that. All righty. That's pretty good. Some of you remember that song. I'm your pusher man. Yes. All righty. Hold on. If I walk down here. There you go. General Trump 28. He might run. General. He might run. He might run. So just you'll see. Straight Ann is 01 Rumble. Thank you for $2, my friend. The assets that we have in the Caribbean should be used to enforce the Russian oil sanctions. Oh, the Ukraine Navy is doing it. Did you know Ukraine has a Navy? I did know Ukraine has a Navy. It's just now in the small area that it's heavily naval drones now. Most of the Navy now is drones. So I appreciate that, Straight Ann. Thank you for that. Yes. All right. HVAC says, Larry, the winners punish losers. Winners never commit war crimes. Everything a loser does is a war crime. True. Yes. True. Yes. All righty. Phil says, the problem with the Venezuelans bringing cocaine to the country is they're competing too much with the CIA. The government does not at all like competition. You're not wrong. Josh says, repeal the war on drugs. Not a bad idea. Look, the reason why the war on drugs is so bad is because it is it creates a black market. That's why it's so bad. There are many reasons why it's bad, but why it's so bad is it creates a black market. A black market creates violence. Now, some people who are libertarians go, well, black market's okay because it's like another economy. Yes, but let's make another economy, a parallel economy that's not a black market. The black market encourages violence. I want to not encourage violence. Well, Larry, how could we talk about that? There's a place. You knew it was civil. It's always civil. Yes, absolutely. Right now, there is a very interesting piece that went civil in the opt-out series called Building the Counter Economy. That's how you do it, you guys. I'm sure Bronner's watching. He gets mad whenever I talk about the black market and goes, black market's good. I would rather not have a black market, but instead have a counter economy. That is better than a black market because you don't have the same violence. Let me pop this on real fast.
Ins and outs of exit and build strategy. My portion of the lecture series really centers around exiting the financial control grid.
Look at that.
Digital currencies, digital ID, surveillance of your money.
I think some of you would enjoy hearing about opting out of these things, wouldn't you? Well, where can you hear them? On Civil, CIVL.com. This is the opt-out series.
Shutting people out of the economy, all sorts of stuff that is problematic. We want to have financial independence, financial sovereignty, as I like to call it. And this 4C strategy is going to help you to do just that. Shout out BPM. BPM says, hope that you had a terrific time at Haven Village in Tennessee. I most definitely.
Now, if you want to hear this guy talk, he's going to go through the entire thing. This is him going through the counter economy.
Ideally, we start a side hustle.
Incomes,
or create
side
some
hustles.
way to earn.
He covers all these things. If you want to watch this, head over to civil.com, CIVL.com. When you join, use the code Larry10 for 10% off. Larry is the coolest name on the internet, and 10 gives you 10% off on joining Civil. I'm on Civil. They're a sponsor. Support Civil. Watch cool stuff about a counter economy. Oh, you libertarians. Mouth-watering. I know it's here on Civil. We're able to do the right thing without violence, without the conflict machine. We can have real conversations to move our civilization forward, to upgrade our civilization on civil.com, CIVL.com. Larry10 for 10% off. Thank you, guys. You guys saw that one coming. I know you did. I know you saw that one coming. It's fine. There we go. Mike says, no, Larry, it's confirmed the boat was hit 4 times. Okay, so then they weren't in the water. I'm fine. Then we're good. Then it was a double tap. That I can accept that. That's fine. Yes. Let's see here. Let me move down here. Rick says, we keep drugs illegal so the CIA can operate out of the eyes of Congress. Oh, yes, through black market budget augmentation. 100% true. 100% true. Yes. Yes. There we go. All righty. Let's see. Lon Nasty Shiza says, what the F, you are animals. I'm not sure who's an animal. Am I the animal? I don't know who the animal is. I don't know. Yes. Yeah. 99 says, remember, folks, Gennaro votes and drives the highway. That's good. More people getting killed in Chicago. True. You're not wrong. And that's also due to government breaking up all the gangs. So, yeah, the government went in and the FBI, CIA went in and broke up all the gangs. And I'm not joking, by the way. So you guys know how this actually works. When in most cities, when they have gangs and black markets, when the cops don't get deeply involved, you generally have 2 to 3 gangs, right? Maybe 2 major, a couple little minor. Why does that matter? Because that becomes your territories. So the only times you have violence, generally speaking, is when you have border disputes for whatever reason. I want this. I said that. This is my turf, your turf. So you have maybe 3 or 4 borders total. And so you have border disputes on 3 or 4 borders. If they create good peace treaties among the gangs, you have less violence. They have bad peace treaties. You have more violence. That's how it tends to work. What happened in Chicago is the FBI and the police were so good at infiltrating and breaking up all these gangs. They did. So they broke up to where there's not like 2 big gangs. There's like 100 gangs. So when there's 100 individual gangs where you only believe people who are in your world only, like your brother or your friend you've known for 20 years, now I don't have 4 borders. I have 200 borders, Well, if I have 200 borders, I have 200 border disputes. Increases violence. Yes. I wish it wasn't that simple. It is literally that simple. The government being effective at infiltrating and putting all these people away and breaking them all up made more violence. So I know, Larry, you just blame the violence on government. I did. It's kind of my thing. HVAC says, Hegseth isn't going to directly say, kill the survivors. He's probably saying something like, when you do it, make sure there are no survivors, meaning kill them all the first go round. HVAC says it's called plausible deniability. Is that true? I get you're saying that. And could I believe that? I could, but I want to make sure that that's real, right? I don't want us to assume that he said that if there's no evidence of him saying that, right? So if that was true, I could believe it. That's believable, but I don't want to assume that's true. So yes. Bruno says the Constitution and the rights of the Republic is dead. Let's just say there's some holes in our Constitution, and the holes have not been plugged by the people who should have plugged them, and the people who should have plugged them are judges. They did not. So yes, they did not. Yes. So absolutely. 99 says, hold on, Trump wants to bomb cartels too. Yeah, but the Mexican president said no. And she convinced him to not bomb them. So he's not bombing them. So he said, well, I can't bomb them. I don't know. I guess I'll bomb Venezuela. HVAC says China has nuclear weapons. True. And China also can do what it wants. If China wants to say, I don't know, invade like Tibet. Oh, it did. It can. If China wants to kill Uyghurs. Oh, wait, they do. They can. Yes, they can. Why? Because they're China. That's how that works. I wish it didn't, but that's how that works. So, yes. All righty. Space Jason says the fentanyl one gets in the hospital are the same as what one gets in street drugs. True. That's my point. You're right. So if we did have a war on drugs, you could. Yes, you could. Absolutely. So, all righty. Gennaro says, stop wasting taxpayer money for illegals. I don't know who do you think you're fighting me in some way? I'm a libertarian. Don't waste tax money on anybody, but not illegals even. No, of course not. Agreed. Absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. Gracie says, these boat bombings is about Maduro, not drugs. I think you're right. 99 says, can we talk about J.D. Vance a bit? How exactly does an unknown junior senator in his first term get selected to be vice president? I think we know. Crypto bros. That's how. Tech bros. That's how. Tech bros make that happen. And I understand why. Tech bros got cash. I get it. They've got cash. 100%. Elon Musk, a lot of cash. That's how. So JD Vance is savvy, right? I know some people don't like JD Vance. It's fine. You don't have to like him if you don't want to. Guy's savvy. He went from a guy who literally called Trump Hitler to being his biggest supporter in like 6 months, and went from, again, literally calling Trump Hitler to being the vice president. You can like him or hate him. That dude knew what he was doing. That's all I'm saying. He is, again, literally a heartbeat away from President of the United States. And at the moment, the front runner for 2028. At the moment. Well, that could change. That could change. But at this moment in time, he is. So, yeah, absolutely. Brana says, ever heard of Obama? True. First-term senator gets president. Yep. And that was because, believe it or not, of, oh my God, who was the guy? Not Orrin Hatch. The Democratic senator from Nevada. Oh my God. I forgot his name. But was he the Senate minority leader? Democratic leader in the Senate. I forgot his name, out of Nevada. That's because of him. So the J.D. Vance because tech bros, Obama because that guy. I forgot who that guy was. He had a thing for the Clintons, and he wanted to get rid of the Clintons, and boy, did it work. So, yes, absolutely. All righty. Cage says, so is the uptick in bots and trolls a sign that Larry's reach is growing? I can only hope. Let us hope. Let us hope. I hope that's true. Look, again, I'm happy that people come on. I don't mind it at all. Andrea says, Larry, you called on Rubio. I did. You remember. Thank you. Andrea, you remember, I called Rubio literally a year ago. A year ago, I told you guys when he picked Rubio for Secretary of State, I said he has to give in to neocons so he can get his other people he wants on board. And this was the neocon he had to give into. And Thune was like, deal. Done. Yes. Because Thune's also a neocon. And Thune, by the way, if you remember, Trump lost the election that his guy wasn't able to become the majority leader. Thune was the majority leader. And Thune said, you take Rubio and I'll back all your other garbage you want to do. Because I'm a neocon. I don't like other stuff. I don't like my neocon stuff. And Trump said, deal. I'll give you a Rubio. Not realizing, because he thought, oh, it's little Marco Rubio. Oh, no. I told you guys, Rubio is a serious neocon. He's a Cuban neocon, which when it comes to the Caribbean, that's the most neo of the neocons, or the most con of the neocon, or whatever. That's the most neocon of the neocons for that area. That's why. You're right. I called it a year ago. I said, this is the guy who will be their neocon, the flag bearer, and he is. It was, to me, so obvious, screaming it. So thank you, Andrea. I did call that. I am usually right. Sometimes wrong. Does happen. But as I always say, if you bet on me over time, you're going to be making money, because I'm usually right. You're going to lose a couple times, but you're going to win overall. I'm usually right. So straight in over there, $2.32. He says, Trump has used drug invasion as a legal reason to do a few things to get what he wants. What does he want that has not been offered? He's just showing off. Ooh, good question. Yeah, no. He's very good at making pretexts to get what he wants. You're right. It's a skill set he has, and it usually works. Trump is very good at this, right? I can disagree with him and still say he's good at this. He is good at this. This is a skill set he has. So yeah, I don't think he's showing off. I feel like, and this is just a feeling I have, I feel like Trump is falling inside. What I mean by that, when Trump is at his best, for those of you who don't like Trump, you may not want to hear this, but I'm just when he's his best. Trump's at his best when he's out in a crowd, because he's hearing the people. And when he's hearing the people, he gets it. He has, or this had, I don't know if he still does. He had a real knack for understanding what Americans wanted, the things that bug them, the things that bother them, the things they care about. He had a great knack for it. He'd be out there listening, be like, boom, 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 knowing what was going on, figuring out, saying stuff. He's been isolated within his people for a year now. And I feel like, again, I have no evidence of this, so take it for whatever you think it's worth. My guts is going to find out later that he's been isolated from his people, meaning the people that love him, the red MAGA hat people who adore him, who actually will not let him know what the country's thinking. When he's out on campaign, he's talking to them every day. He's seen them all the time. They're shaking that whisper in his ear. He's getting what Americans are thinking. I feel like he's not getting it now. Now, people, you guys who don't like Trump, be mad at me for saying that. But again, I think he's not getting it, right? Look, I get it too, at a very lower level, obviously. Clearly, I'm not trying to put myself in that. But when you go on campaign, you meet more people, you talk to more people, you learn more things. When you're not on campaign, you tend to be more insular, and you rely upon the people around you that tell you what's happening versus you having a feeling for it. I think Trump's lost the feeling for what the American people want right now. That's why I think he's messing up and making mistakes. I think he's listening to advisors versus being out there and meeting people and going, oh, you guys like this, you guys want that, you guys feel this. He was a master at that. When he was campaigning, nobody picked up on little things that people cared about better than Trump. I'm sorry, nobody running. I mean, other people do it, but nobody running was better than him. He was great at it. Now, that's what I think's happening. I think we'll find out later if that's true. So I don't know. So, all right. Where was I? Okay. Gracie says, I've lived in Florida long enough to know how much Cuban American Floridians hate socialism and communism in Latin America. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Absolutely. Mike says, per Guardian, Trump gave Maduro ultimatum to resign by November 28th. Maduro declined. Yeah, he said he wanted to spend some time out and do it with. He wanted to do. This is what Maduro wanted. He said, "I'll do it, but can I do it on my time so I can have some damn dignity?" Why would Maduro just bend to what Trump says? He's a president of a country. So some guy walks and goes, "You resign," and you go, "Okay." Look, this might cost Maduro his life, Mike. This might cost him his life, but I get it. Would you do it? I wouldn't do it. Would you do it? Could you imagine I don't know, anybody? Let's, they tell us that there's aliens now, right? So let's assume some alien power comes in. I'm making this up, right? And says, Trump, resign by whatever, November 5th. You think he'd do it? Would you want him to? Of course not. Because Trump orders it, he should jump? Of course not. He should go. He should, if he's going to step, look, to be forward, Trump shouldn't be saying any of this shit. This is all utterly, completely wrong and bad. How does Trump decide who's president of what country? Because we're America. That's why. That's how Putin gets to say that Ukraine, Zelensky's not president of Ukraine. That's what Putin says. Why? Because he's Putin. So we get to say that Maduro's not the president of Venezuela. Why? Because Trump. That's the reason. And we don't see a problem with this. We don't see a problem with some American president just deciding that some other president is not the president. Well, he's dictator. Okay, then let the Venezuelans deal with him in whatever way they see fit. If they want to get rid of him, that's their guy. They can do that if they want to. They want to vote him out. They want to make something else happen. That's them. That's not us. We can just do that? No, absolutely not. It's not okay. 99 says it. What jurisdiction does Trump have to make a decision? I'm American. That's it. And sadly, 99, a whole lot of Americans think that's okay. A whole lot do, right? I think a whole lot of them think it's true. And it's terrible. So, yeah. 99 says, how is a wartime order if we aren't at war? True. Yes. Absolutely true. So, all right. John says, yes, Maduro offered to step down with several conditions. Yes, including dropping the charge to face the International Criminal Court. Can President Trump drop those charges? Thank you. He did offer to step down, Mike. He did. Why in the hell, if you're Maduro, would you step down so they can arrest you and turn you into, what's that guy from Serbia? Milosevic? Turn you into Milosevic? Yeah. That guy stepped down when Clinton told him to. What happened? He went to jail. At The Hague, right? Is that right? I think I'm right. It's the 90s, if I got my timeline right. It was Milosevic, right? Yeah, you're going to be turning that guy. I wouldn't either. Why would you? Step down so you can get arrested? Why? Makes no sense. He did offer to step down. He could, and if Trump really cared, back, okay, fine. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I'll make those charges go away. You say, can Trump charge? Of course he can protect him. He's protecting Netanyahu. Netanyahu got charges too. Trump's protecting Netanyahu. Protect Maduro. Trump just pardoned the other dude from what? Panama, was it? Is that the guy? No. What was the guy? He just pardoned some dude. So who was a drug dealer? So Trump pardoned him, pardoned this guy too. Trump can do whatever he wants. Trump can just tell people to not be president anymore. Clearly. So yes, he can. There we go. Pepperoni, thank you, my friend. Pepperoni, I owe you a call, and I will be giving you a buzz here coming up here. Senator Harry Reid from Nevada. That was the guy. Obama became that because Harry Reid. Yes, because Harry Reid. He's the guy who made that happen. He was the Senate leader. Thank you for that, Pepperoni. Brona says they can't lock up all the enlisted, Larry. They should all refuse. Why can't they? This goes back, and I say this all the time. This goes back to when the Soviets recaptured Poland from the Germans after World War II. And the Poles were trying to fight back. They had fought back after World War I to push the Russians back. Some of them thought they could do it again. And the Russians were doing that. And the Poles went, you can't arrest us all. And the Soviet officer said, why not? Why not? When the Soviets moved into Poland, there was a saying, there are three types of Poles. Those who were in prison, those who are in prison, and those who will be in prison. So they kind of can. What's stopping them? Yeah. So there we go. All righty. Let's see here. Gennaro says, stop poisoning our people. Who's poisoning our people? I think they're poisoning themselves. He goes on to say, dealers don't care about you. True. That's true. Neither do doctors who are prescribing you that garbage. Neither do drug companies who are pumping that in your veins. Neither is the government who ensures that once you get that, they ensure you wind up becoming an addict. None of them do. You're right. Should they all go to jail? Maybe. You want to drone strike them all? Okay. Well, at least then you would be, if you did that, at least you would be consistent. Let's drone strike them all. Right? That would be something at least. So yes. Anyway, let's see here. Stop the Madness says, I guarantee the defense is going to be Obama did it. It's not a bad defense. It's not. And why do I say that? Because precedent matters in the government. It does. Precedent matters. It's not a bad defense. So, yeah, I think you're correct. And it's true. Number one, Obama did do it. It's true. And it's precedent. It's not a bad defense, man. You're not wrong. And it's not a bad defense. Guillermo says, hey, Larry, war on drugs. Freeze him with the drug lord. True. See, so Trump frees the drug lord. He can take care of Maduro. Say, dude, Maduro, I'll tell you what we're going to do. When you want to leave? And Maduro goes, you know what? Look, I want to spend the holidays with my family. I want to talk a little trash, act like I'm tough guy. Can make a deal here. I'm acting like I'm tough guy. I'll leave like January 5th. Can you get them charges dropped by then? Trump goes, yeah, leave the 5th. Here's who I want you to put in charge. Here's our guy. Make sure he gets in charge. I'll drop your charges. You know, it's fine. Move to Texas. Move to Texas. We got some place out there. Elon will take care of you. Take some of your money. Buy a villa. You'll be fine. I'm not joking. That's what Trump could have done. I'll get your charges dropped. Go. And Maduro goes, thanks. Yeah. He spends Christmas with his family, takes a bunch of his cash, puts Trump's guy in charge, gets on a plane, flies to Austin, goes and buys a freaking villa somewhere. Maybe, I don't know, on Brownsville or something. I don't know, wherever. And he's good. Done deal. Could have happened. Didn't. Could have happened. Didn't. Yes. D says, the MAGA chat I moderated earlier was giddy about double tap. Of course. Of course. This is our problem, right? When Obama was doing it, Democrats were like, well, it's because this, because that, because the other. It's because of the wonderful things he does. That's what it was. That was literally what it was when Obama did it. Democrats just like, because you're a racist. That was their entire thing when Obama did it. Well, when Trump does it, of course, MAGA's gonna be behind him. Because my guy's doing it, therefore it's okay, D. See, when your guy does it, it's bad. When my guy does it, totally cool. Totally, it's terrorists or whatever, right? But then again, though, I gotta be clear. Obama did bomb Americans. That did make it worse. So it is worse, but still bad, but worse. So yes. All righty. Adirondack says, Trump should get Somali pirates to patrol Venezuelan shores. That would be brilliant. That'd be brilliant. Yes, absolutely. Ganshin says, drug traffickers are smart enough not to distribute drugs over the water. They even tried submarines and it backfired. I remember that. Yes. That's good. Gennaro says Obama's worse. I'm not fighting you, brother. I think you think I'm fighting you. If any of you have actually watched this, I'm not anti-Trump. I'm anti this shit. He's wrong. So was Obama. And I said Obama was wrong when it happened. And Trump is wrong now when Trump does it. You should not be killing civilians. That's not a thing you should be doing. You should not be doing it. That's it. So D says, Thomas Massey's latest post trolling Trump is signaling the E-Files is grand, almost as great as his grandstanding. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Look, the E-Files are going to come out eventually. So, yeah. Ganjan says, let's be honest, MAGA is a clown show. You got Maha, Crypto Bros, conspiracy theorists, white nationalists, and the filth-nosed Christian right. MAGA was destined to fail. I disagree. I don't think it was destined to fail. I think it depended upon how how you could get, how Trump could actually keep it together. It's not an easy thing to do, right? And I said it back then. If you remember what I said, his hardest thing, and I said this last year, the hardest thing Trump would have to do is hold this coalition together. I think most people could not have held together. And I said it then, and I'll say it again. If anybody could, it would have been Trump. There's no one in the Democratic Party who could have put this coalition together and held it together. That person, if they exist, they're not the forefront. If there's some guy or gal, I don't know, junior someplace, some junior senator somewhere I don't know about, maybe. But nobody at the forefront. Democrats have nobody who would have the force of will that Trump has to bring it together. Trump just screwed it up. If anyone could have done it, it would have been him. He has the force of will to do it. It's why he put it together. Holding it was tough. It wasn't easy because each of those groups you mentioned, they have different agendas. They were held together because of Trump, not because they all agreed on the same agenda. So it's really hard. Really hard. All right. John says, I agree that we should not be bombing those ships, but the organization running them has been labeled a foreign terrorist organization. Oh, okay. Okay. Then if that's true, I don't know who labeled them. Did we just decide that? Okay. We just decide shit. Okay. Then that's fine. Then send in, if that's true, then send in the Navy SEALs to finish those guys off like we did with Osama, right? If that's true, I don't know who labeled it. Let's say that's true. Let's head over there and send the Navy SEALs in and kill them. That would work. I'm okay with that. How do you handle drug cartels? I just said it. Send those guys in and take care of them if you want to. Or there's a crazy thing. This is going to sound crazy. 20. It's going to sound crazy. You could end the war on drugs. All right, hear me out. Once drugs start to become legal, the cartels are no longer a black market. No need for cartels. Larry, that can never work. It literally did work 100 years ago. It literally worked. What I just said literally worked. Prohibition. There were cartels bringing in booze into America. Many of them from Ireland. A lot of them were Irish cartels, believe it or not. I know it's a stereotype, but it was true. A lot of Irish cartels were bringing booze into America. A lot of bootleggers in again, it's stereotypical but true. In the hillbilly types that you hear about, that was actually real. They were actually rum runners. That was a real thing. And then we ended the prohibition, and they went away because there's no need. They're filling a need. We act like drug cartels are pushing something. They're filling a need. Well, if we end the need, there's no need for drug cartels. Goes away. Could you do that? Or if you want to do the killing part, which I know some of you guys really just want to kill them, great. That's why we have Navy SEALs. That's how we got Osama. You want to do that? Send in the Navy SEALs every single time there's a new cartel leader. Go in, take them out. New one comes in, take them out. Until you broke them up. We broke up the gangs in Chicago. I just brought that up. We broke them all up. Break up the cartels. Same way. What's the difference? So now you've got 100 different cartels who can't function well together, and they collapse and fight amongst themselves. Done deal. Break them up. They fight amongst themselves. We did it. We did it with the Triple K. Did it with them too. Do that. War isn't a way of fixing this. It doesn't fix this. We have fixed this issue before. I just gave you 3 ways to fix it that have worked in the past. Are we doing any of those? No. So I randomly tonight gave you 3 answers that have worked in the past. And your answer is, well, we got to go bomb them or something. No, bombing doesn't work. Bombing has never worked. And repeat that. Bombing has never worked. People say, yeah, it did. The nuclear bombs. That's not why Japan surrendered. Japan surrendered because Russia invaded. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. We didn't nuke Japan because that was the only answer. Nuke Japan to scare Russia. To let the world, the Chinese, Russians know that we had the bomb. That's why we nuked Japan. It wasn't to stop the war. Anyone who thinks I'm lying, do your homework. The Japanese wanted to surrender. They wanted to surrender already. What they didn't want was unconditional surrender. Similar to Maduro. This happens yet again. When you give someone unconditional surrender and they think, well, now I'm going to surrender and I'm dead, well, then why would I surrender? And the Japanese thought if they surrendered, there'd be no Japan. They would get rid of the emperor. So they were actually going to Russia. This is true story. Do you think I'm making this up? The Japanese were trying to negotiate peace through the Soviet Union. They thought maybe the Soviets could negotiate peace with them. And when Stalin said, "Oh, you want to negotiate peace? Awesome." He invaded. He invaded Manchuria and North Korea. That's why we have North and South Korea, because of that invasion. And once the Russians invaded, the Japanese realized they couldn't win the war, and they surrendered. They were losing their entire empire. The entire army in China was going to be destroyed. The Russians either surrounded or captured 2 million Japanese in 3 weeks or some crazy. It's something like that. I forgot if someone look at that number when the Russians invaded. It's something like that. Something like 3 million or whatever million Japanese in 3 weeks or something. It devastated the Japanese army. They were like, "We're done. We're out. We're done." That's why they surrendered. That's how that actually works. So yes. Alrighty. Stuff Matter says, "So Larry, now that Eric July is doing regular videos again, I was looking to think about reaching out to interview you. I'll keep bugging him on your behalf. You are the man. I love Eric July. I've known him for a while. I saw him in Florida about 4 years ago, maybe. Yeah. So I was one of the guys who was pushing him to make his comics. I mean, I'm not taking credit for that. I was one of the guys who was pushing him to make his comics. Just do it, man. Get that shit out right away. I'm glad he did. So yes. Nico Webb says, "When I tell people on Staten Island about you, I tell them you will serve as a conduit between the city and federal government to do what's best for us." Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. It says Trump closed the border. Yes, you're not wrong. And to be forward, the vast majority of Americans are happy about that. Most Americans, some aren't, some are mad, but the vast majority of Americans are happy about that. Yes, they absolutely are happy about that. And he did. But again, people still dying. So yes. 20 says, "Why is there a fentanyl crisis?" Because more expensive drugs the safer drugs are too expensive. That's why. Safer drugs are too expensive. Why? War on drugs. People are taking fentanyl because they get a very powerful high from fentanyl. That's why they take it. They're looking for fentanyl. They want a powerful high. I gave the reasons to if you were paying attention as to why it's happening. Number one, as I said, the war on drugs. And I explained why the war on drugs makes quality drugs expensive that people who have addictions can't afford them. So they go with the cheapest drugs. That's why we have meth. That's why we have crack. That's why we have fentanyl. Those things wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have them in America if people could afford the better drugs. I'm not making this up. You see it everywhere. Wealthy people who are addicts have better drugs, right? And many people that I've worked with on Wall Street, if you know about Wall Street, many of them are on drugs. It used to be cocaine. Now it's heavily Adderall and cocaine still. Cocaine's always going to be a popular drug. But Adderall also a popular drug. They actually will snort Adderall. I'm not joking. If you know this world, you know what I'm talking about. They actually snort Adderall. So you'll see that too. So they have better drugs. That's number one. But number two is our crappy healthcare system, which pushes people into drugs because that's how the doctors make money, because of our crappy system. Because of that crappy system, they make drugs. And when they do that, they get people addicted. And then the third thing is people are unhappy and lonely and have no community. Add those two things together and boom, you get that. Yes. So, all right. Bronna says, "Nice job. Stop the madness. I'm a big fan of it." Me too. I like him. Yes. 90 says, "Larry, you should let the people angry call you." They can't. They want to. I do my radio show on Mondays. You can call and be angry. People get mad at me. I don't mind. You guys see me. I don't mind people being angry. I'm happy. Be angry. Look, if you are angry, that means you care. I need you to care. Most people don't care. They're not paying attention. Yes, they're just not paying attention. So D says, "My hub's got fentanyl after his one-wheel accident with a broken foot." Yes, absolutely. 20 says, "I did not know there were other uses for the drug. Huge propaganda." Correct. I've been saying it forever. All propaganda. All propaganda. It's not a thing. Don't believe that stuff. Look, Democrats and Republican establishment put out propaganda all the time. The establishment puts out propaganda all the time. Democrats put out their propaganda. Republicans put out theirs. It is all propaganda. Yes. So Guillermo says, "Have people forgotten about Agenda 2030? It's still in full effect." I hope you're wrong. I do hope you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. Yes. Brona says, "I like my markers like I like my coffee. Black." Yes. I like my women like my coffee, dark and bitter. Yes. Okay. There we go. All right. Dang, I missed Larry live. No, you're not. I'm still on. Still good. Yes. Missy asks, where do you stand politically? Take the free quiz, The Advocates for Self-Government, to find out. It's easy, quick, and fun. There's a link right there. She's right, guys. Take that link, but don't just do that one. Do that one. But it's another one you can do, which is kind of right now, maybe even a better one to do just because of what we're talking about. And that is the single issue survey on national security and foreign policy. Boom. Go through and take the question we're just talking about. What do you think about national security and foreign policy? Once you take this survey, and once you're done, you talk about how we should project power. I'm just going to pick one and keep going. There's different questions: voluntary military, a draft, right? Hold on, let me keep going here. I'm just going to click one just so I can keep going. Here, on presidential war making, Congress is too weak and too slow to respond to danger in this high-tech world. The president is the commander-in-chief of U.S. military forces, so he should have the power to order military action whenever our intelligence agencies identify a threat to national security. You want that? Or president can initiate military action without a formal declaration of war, but only with restraints approved by Congress in the War Powers Act. War should not be waged to protect oil or corporate profits. Or president should never initiate military action without formal declaration of war by Congress. It would be best if Congress never voted to commit U.S. forces overseas actions. What do you think? Pick the one you want and move on. There are many questions, right? Should the U.S. sometimes support foreign dictators? Ooh, a foreign dictator question. What do you think on that one? These are interesting questions to make you think and others think too. Take the quiz. When you are done taking the quiz, this is going to ask you for your email address. Give it to them. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but you can just click and you'll still get your results. But if you give them the email, they'll send it to you, and you'll get a very cool email about once a month about cool libertarian stuff, because it's the Advocates for Self-Government. And they're about us having self-government. That's what it's all about. Here's the most important piece. You take this test and share it, others will too. They'll start talking about these issues, thinking about these issues. This spurs conversation. And that's the most important part. It spurs conversation. Take it here. Click the link that's there in the description under both Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Click that specific link, because this way you know it comes from me. You take that test, then share it out and let other people do it too. The Advocates for Self-Government, they're very important. I've been following them for years, working with them for years. They're a sponsor of the show. Help us out. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Missy. All righty. Bronna says, Larry, I'm all about counter economics, which is why I urge you to check out Samuel E. Conkin. Yes, and again, it's there. So you can check that out. Yes. So, all righty. Decentralized crime equals less safe. Sadly true. Yes. Sadly true. Gene says government is force, force is violence. Also true. Also true. Absolutely. Noses says our Constitution is the only thing standing in the way of a smooth transition to a one world government. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. So, Larry said the J word. No, I was good. I was good, D. I was good. Yes. Ganchin says, and if China wants to distribute fentanyl to the U.S., oh, wait, did I do? Yes. Yes. 100%. All righty. Let me see if I go down here. John goes on to say the book and movie Hillbilly Elegy helped J.D. Vance. Yes, the book helped. I agree. But it wasn't the answer. But it was helpful. Agreed. Noah Gibson says, I'm running for a Senate seat in New York. I'm a Democrat right now, but it's too late to be changed libertarian. The reality of it is changing to libertarian doesn't make any sense for you, because there is, at the moment, you're not going to gain ballot access because of it. But you could do it if you want to. What you actually want to do instead is, what you might want to do instead is ask the local Libertarian Party for their line, and they'll give you a line. They will give you a line. So that's what you might want to do. So, all righty. Paula, Harry Reid. Yep, Harry Reid. Dirty Harry Reid. Yeah, wow. I'm really late, aren't I? I'm behind, guys. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm behind, guys. Yes. All righty. Paula says, Fox News heard you, Larry. They're calling the double attack a hoax. A hoax. I hope it is. for the sake of our military personnel and no other at this point. Agreed. I don't want it to be true. I'm saying it is alleged. I have not seen evidence that it happened. Look, I get it. If you hate Trump, you want this to be a way of taking him down. You want to be a way of harming Hegseth. I understand the logic. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it true, right? So, yeah. All righty. Let's see here. John, did Maduro lose the election and declare himself president anyway? I don't know. And if that's true, it's up to the Venezuelans to fix it. It's up to them to fix it. That's the issue. It's not up to us to fix it, even if it's true. So yes. So, all righty. Let's see here. John says Soviet Union attacked Poland between World War I and World War II. Yep. Poland pushed them back. Yes. When UK took control of Poland after World War II, they executed anyone that was in the Polish army. Yes. And that was my point, right? You know this, John. Many people don't. After World War I, the Russians tried to basically recapture Poland. And the Poles were like, hell no. 1920, am I right? Is it 1921, John? It's in that area, 20 or 21. The Russians, the Soviets come in and try to take it. And the Poles pushed it back. The Poles won that war. After World War II, the Soviets were like, we remember what happened in World War I. And they were brutal. And I feel for the Poles. The Poles got brutalized by the Germans and then brutalized by the Soviets. It was bad both cases. But yeah, they were unable to. Yes. There we go. Brona says, sorry, I don't buy it. There simply isn't enough manpower to arrest them all if they all refuse. But that's the point. It's not how it works. What happens is they all refuse. Then a bunch get arrested and the rest collapse. That's what happens. You're thinking they're all going to be Spartacus. That's not how that works, man. I'm just being forward with you. That's not how it works. What happens is a bunch of people will stand up and go, we're not doing it. Then they'll arrest a whole bunch of them and the rest will just acquiesce. It's what Miyamoto Musashi spoke about in his book, The Book of Five Rings. You don't have to kill everybody when people are attacking you. Just kill a couple of leaders, the rest run. So that's why. You're right. They don't have to, but they'll act like they will. Those people will think they will, and they'll just acquiesce. That's how it works. So yeah, that's why. So, all right. Andrea says, I think Trump has the will to turn us around. Let's hope he starts listening to Tulsi more than Rubio or Graham. If anyone can pull this off, I always say, Andrea, it's him. If there's anyone who can, Trump has an amazing force of will. An amazing force of will. Stronger than most people I can even imagine. His force of will is insane. I'm not saying he can't. It is a tough thing to do. I've been saying it for years. If anyone can do it, it's him. If it can be done, I'm not sure it can be done. D says, when it comes to killing civilians, I doesn't care who's the party in charge. And he damn sure will call them out. True. He would actually call out libertarian leaders even harder if they were doing it. True. You're right. Absolutely true. Yeah, you should not be killing civilians. Period. Yes. All right. Bronna says, laughing my ass up. I almost got to tell you folks, in the Facebook group debate, I got called a leftist this morning. I know the feeling, Bronna. I had it today, earlier. So yes, 100%. Paul says, is it me or does Marco Rubio really look happy, almost smug, since we started bombing Maduro boats? Yes, he's running this. Yes, he's running this. Yes. Phil, thank you for $2, my friend. SEAL Team Sharpe at 9 p.m. Be there or be square. Is that true? I guess I better go there. I don't remember that. I guess I better go there. Okay. So, thanks. All righty. I better be there, I guess, or I'm going to be square. So, yes. Okay. See if I go down here. I got a couple of these. Johnson says, looking forward to seeing Larry in real life this week. Are you going to be coming out to see me? I hope you will. For those of you who don't know, I will be out this weekend. Yes, I will. If you will be out in New York, please come see me. Friday, December 5th, I'll be at 1 p.m. the Belmar Pub and Grill in Binghamton. At 1 p.m., I'll be in Randy's Fireside in Olean, New York. That's 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. on Friday, December 5th. Then Saturday, 3-stop Saturday. Look at me go. 3 stops. 2 stops the first day, 3 stops the next day. 10 a.m., Brothers Restaurant and Bar in Buffalo, New York. 2:30, the Village House Restaurant in Albion, New York. 7 p.m., Scoville's Grill in Densville, New York. 3 stops that day and 2 the next. 7 total stops in 3 days. I am a madman. Sunday, December 7th, which is a day that will live in infamy. 10 a.m., Ashley Lynn Winery in Waterloo. And 1 p.m., Ithaca Ale House in Ithaca, New York. Come on by. Check me out if you can. Remember, it's free to come in. I just ask you, these are all locally owned places, as I always support local places. Please pick up something at a place. If you're in a spot where you really can't afford much, buy a cup of coffee, buy a beer, buy a soda, whatever. If you can. If you can't, just come and sit down and chat with me. If you're in a good spot, please buy a meal, right? If you're in a spot where you can afford a meal, come buy a meal. Come sit down, have a meal, sit with us, support the local business if you can. And look, you can just talk to me. You can just chat with me. I'll answer questions. I've done hundreds, I think 700 or 800 of these in the last 8 years. Did them all the same way. See the picture of me right there? No notes, live. I just answer questions and say things. That's what I do. See me in person. I'll also have some shirts. You want to buy some shirts? Sorry. You want to get some shirts for free for a donation? Don't bother, get me in trouble. You want to do that? Please go ahead. Or I may have some lawn signs if I don't run out. Some other signs. Come on by. See me if you can. I would appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Johnson, I appreciate that. Thank you. All righty. All righty. Siaba says, I always get it 100 for libertarians. Used to make sense when I was only true libertarian, but I'm not anymore. Oh, I like that. Stop Matt says, if I heard it correctly, Larry could rip reverse. True. It's all mine. I am 100% responsible for Rippaverse, and I gave it to Eric July. Tell him that. Watch him freaking flip his lid. Yes, that's true. It's all Rippaverse is all mine. I made it completely. I just am a kind and generous creator, Mike. So I just gave it to him because I love him. So I said, Eric, you couldn't figure this out on your own. So I decided what Rippaverse was. I made all the characters and I just gave it to him out of love. Tell him that. Yes. Yeah. Tell him that. But yeah, I guess he'll have me on to yell at me. So perfect. There we go. Because that's what I just said is utter bullshit, but that's fine. Tell him anyway. Hopefully he'll have me on. So yes. All righty. Siaba says, funny thing is China's fentanyl comes to Canada, at least according to their law enforcement intelligence. Yeah, it does. And Mexico, both. Yes, it comes through both. Yes. All righty. Yeah, I covered all of those. Nose says, Discord, I think it's a COT meeting. Oh, it's on Discord? There we go. It's Discord meeting. There we go. All right, it's a Discord meeting. Thank you. Yes. Bruno says, okay, Larry, I can see that, which brings me back to idiotic belief in authority. Lol, but I'll shut up about it. Yeah, but I think that's how it actually works, right? I think that's how it actually works. So, yeah, and you'd be one of the first arrested. So, yeah. Phil says, lighting it to be a character in reverse. I like that. I like that. All righty. Thank you for the $5. American Christians being targeted as Russian spies by Rep. Bacon and Wilson. Thoughts? I don't know what that is. American Christians being targeted as Russian spies by Rep. Bacon and Wilson. Thoughts? Don't know. Am I supposed to know what that is? I'm not sure what that is. You just gave me homework. All right. Shows up for 5 seconds, throws homework at me. First insults me with Eric and then throws homework at me. All right. I see how you are. I'm kidding. So yeah. All right. I got some work to do in this case. I gotta work on that one. I'm not sure what that one is. I don't know how to handle that one. We'll see, I guess. We will see. Guys, I'm asking if I could please click the button known as like. It does matter. If you haven't reposted this or shared this, please do so. It really does matter. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. It's very important. It does matter. If you can afford to become a member, please do so. Click that join button. I know I was supposed to have a member show. I have been absolutely swamped, unable to make it work. I will get it going. I promise I will. It's been challenging. So if we can do that, if we can in the future, I will get one going. It has just been very challenging. That's been the issue. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Alrighty. I'm asking, of course, after this is over, please comment afterwards if you would. Comment on the live afterwards if you would, because the bots love it. They do. So please, in fact, what do you think the reason is we are actually bombing the boats? Is it to invade Venezuela? Is it the drugs? Is it the oil? What's the real reason why we're bombing the boats? Please comment after this live is over. And if you're watching this is not live, you can see 2 videos pop up. Please watch one of them right away. Mr. Rhythm loves that. Algo Rhythm loves that. I will see you all very soon.